Greetings, beautiful soul, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. If you've never met me before, welcome. Grab yourself a cup of tea and have tea with me. In today's video, I want to talk to you about water, consciousness, and past lives. I had the craziest thing that happened to me this week, and I knew that I wanted to share it with you because I feel like these sorts of stories are really cool to reflect on, and maybe there's something that you have had similar happen to you and you've just wrote it off as a coincidence, or you've kind of let your mind go logical and not like settle into the mystical, the mysterious sort of side to the story. So yes, grab yourself some tea. I have hibiscus today. I'm just gonna chill and I'm gonna tell you this crazy thing that happened to me. So what happened was, I was doing a really dear friend of mine's hair, because I'm a hairdresser if you don't know that, and we were talking about reincarnation and soul families. So, you know, the idea that we are all have an eternal spirit and soul that reincarnates here to earth to learn, to grow, and the earth really is our classroom, you know, the soul's classroom. It comes here to experience a number of different experiences and grow and evolve until it reaches enlightenment, where it doesn't need to reincarnate and learn any more lessons because it's experienced the whole spectrum of what it is to be a human being. And I believe that all of our family members and a lot of our really dear friends we have been connected with in past life and past life, you know, before. And that's why when we have a child and we look into that child's eyes, of course we have this, you know, instinctual, pheromonal, you know, hormonal response to the child, that we love it, that it's our own kin. But also I think it's deeper than that. You know, I think that a mother looks at its child and it sees it, and this love is not only just for it being its human kin, it's because it recognizes its soul. The mother recognizes that this little precious human, deep within her body and soul, she knows that she's seen them before. She's seen it, their eyes. Maybe they've been mother and daughter in another past life, or sister and sister, or sister and brother, who knows. But I think that we all incarnate together as a soul group, and then we're on the other side together, and then we come back. And one of the first things that we learnt when I was doing my mediumship studies was that water is a conductor and a conduit for spirit. So when you have a bowl of water, that it can help anchor the spirit, call the spirit in. And if you've never ever looked at Dr. Emoto's work with water, so Dr. Emoto was the scientist who photographed water, and he really did a lot of research into consciousness and water, and he photographed water that had words written beside them, so love. And when he took photos with the water as he went through his experiment, it formed these beautiful crystalline structures. And then he took photos of water that had words like I hate you or you disgust me, and saw the differences with those words. And the whole idea is that water holds our energy, our intention, and we are made up of, you know, 70% or 60% water. So what do you think that those words do to us? You know, if those words of you're disgusting, I hate you, and imagine your self-talk, and it really goes to show how destructive negative words and thoughts are to ourselves, being vessels that are filled with water. So in my mediumship studies, the whole, you know, first part of the exercise when I was training was getting a cup of water or a bowl of water when we are trying to channel spirit, to really help anchor in the energy. Now, why is all of this relevant? Why am I telling you? Because it has so much to do with the story of what happened. So just bear with me. So my friend and I, we were sitting, I was doing her hair, and I have on the station where I, you know, do the hair, this beautiful wooden stand my dad made me, and it has a bowl of water with a beautiful pothos plant in it, and it's been there for ages. Like, I love it. It's just the best. Everybody comments on how pretty this bowl looks. So we're having a chat about spirit, about the soul, reincarnation, all of that. And I was specifically telling my friend about my tattoos on my hands, and this hand in particular. So they're very different, but the experience that I had when I received this tattoo was so wild. Now, Rachel, my tattoo artist, is so incredibly talented. She's an intuitive healer, tattooist, artist, creative mystic. I could go on and on about her forever. She's the Ellison Hart on Instagram. I'll leave her details here. She's on TikTok. She's incredible. Go and check her out, please. Do yourself a favor. Now, Rachel does this beautiful service of intuitive tattooing. So she channels your guides, your soul, your spirit, and brings forward a tattoo design that you don't know you're receiving until you go to the appointment. And I had full faith and trust. I've received several of these tattoos from her, and this one being on my hands was a very, very big moment for me. It was stepping into my power as a healer, stepping into my power in so many different ways. So when we do this tattooing, Rachel does a ceremony beforehand where she calls in your guides, calls in your ancestors, your higher self, everyone in spirit that is supporting you, and calls them into the ceremony so you can sit with them and they can hold space for you throughout your tattoo, because tattoos hold energy. Tattoos are initiations. I could go on about that forever as well, but I'm not going to. So when I received this one here and all my guides came in, the ceremony part was over and we started the actual tattooing. As the needle went in and started right here on the eye, that was the first one out of both of these hands, all of a sudden I felt all of these beings and energies surrounding me and placing their hands all over my body. They were guides, ancestors, and as they laid their hands on me, I heard this voice so loudly, so clearly in my head: whatever pain you're about to experience, you have felt 1,000-fold in 1,000 lifetimes. You have died many deaths to walk in this life. And in that moment, I started seeing flash after flash after flash in my mind's eye, right? I just kept on seeing these deaths, death after death after death after death. And I was so moved, it was like this huge release. Oh my God, Khan, monkey, I can't have you while I'm telling the story. So it was this huge release, and I actually started like getting really jittery, and I looked over to Rachel and I was like, Rachel, I'm about to start crying, because I just felt from deep within my solar plexus this huge surge of energy, and I just like burst into tears. It was so overwhelming. That's the word I was after. So overwhelming. Need tea. So flash forward into the studio. I'm telling my friend about this experience. The needle goes in, my guides gather around, and I hear the words. And I said to my friend that I saw these images of me being, trigger warning, stoned and drowned. And as I said these words, as they came out of my mouth, there was this massive bang. And we were like, because we had been talking about all this spiritual stuff, about death, about life, about the soul, everything. This bang was so loud, so clear. It sounded like a stone had been thrown against the mirror. And we both stopped, like I stopped speaking, and my friend is like looking at the mirror thinking like, where is the rock? Like, where there must be a crack in the mirror. What happened? I even opened up the studio door. I like looked outside to see if there was like a kid there that like threw a rock up against the window or something like that. I'm thinking, what? And anyway, I washed my friend's hair at the basin, a little bit later. And when I started drying her hair off, I looked over to the beautiful wooden stand, and there was a puddle of water. And I was like, that's weird. Like, there's no way that it can leak. Like where could it be leaking from? And as I walked over to it, I saw that there was more water and more water. And I looked at the bowl where my beautiful pothos was, and I picked it up, and there was a giant crack in the base of the glass jar. Now, I was so ridiculously shook because, this bang happened when the words, I was stoned and drowned came out of my mouth as we're talking about reincarnation, my guides, all of this crazy energy. I'm talking about it, and bang! bang, like I said. So I've showed you obviously the bowl just then as we were talking, but I have it here without the water in it, and you can see that the crack literally goes the entire way around the base of this bowl. Like I said at the beginning about water holding consciousness, about my mediumship classes, that water is a conduit for spirit. And you know, when we're doing spirit communication, hey, have a big giant bowl of water and that will help the spirits come through. It's like a portal. It helps anchor their energy and heighten your spiritual connection with the other side. And so the fact that this big giant bowl of water went bang, I just think maybe the energy of like what we were talking about, and I just don't think, there's no way, there's nothing hit it, there's nothing banged, my friend didn't bump the table, nothing, it just banged as the words stoned and drowned came out of my mouth. So it was this really beautiful experience that I wanted to share with you, because you know, my thoughts on this really are that so often we have our guides, we have our loved ones in spirit surrounding us, but also when it comes to past lives, we are so intrinsically linked to our past lives. You know, I don't think that they're necessarily in the past. I think that they're happening in time and space in the present moment, just in different dimensions. And I don't think that time is linear. I think that we're always in shifting timelines. And I believe that our past lives do affect our present lives. I think that our soul comes through to heal a lot of wounds. And you know, if you think about your soul family, the people that you incarnated with, your parents, your siblings, and your very dearest friends, also your partner and your current children, you're all a part of a soul family that has, you know, had lifetimes where you had different dynamics and different outcomes of your lives. And there is a karma in between each relationship that you have. And I think we come back to earth and incarnate to work on that karma. So, you know, if a mother was very abusive to her daughter her whole life, that would, you know, accumulate some sort of energetic imbalance between the two souls. And when we incarnate back again, it's often, you know, an experience for the two souls to balance out that old karma that they had in that past life. I also think that fears and some of our irrational phobias can come from past lives as well. I was only just reading this beautiful book called Scottish Witchcraft, where the author was speaking about having a vision of a past life on the battlefield and having their leg, and that energy played out again in this lifetime when they needed to have a full knee replacement. And it was like at that joint where that happened in the past lifetime, you know, and it was about balancing, you know, reliving that energy, but healing that wound that life, you know, experienced. So there are many things beyond our comprehension. I think we're all trying to understand the incomprehensible. And so I think that whatever way that your brain, you know, can wrap your head around all of these things I'm talking about, then that's awesome for you. I have so many stories of past life dreams that I've had, of experiences of, you know, contacting the parts of my soul from different incarnations. I can tell you about them in the future if you'd like to listen to those stories, but they all really centered around me going to bed and asking my guides to sort of show me insight into a part of me that needs healing. I didn't realize that I was asking spirit to show me past lives. That's just what I experienced. And the wildest thing about it is there are these random dreams where it makes no sense. There's no, you know, story leading up or story after. It's just boom, you're in this random scene from a different period in time. And often the things that are playing out in the dream are very, very relevant to your current life. So for me, the deaths that I witnessed in all of these dreams, they actually are three of my greatest fears in this lifetime. The three of the things I'm the most petrified of. I have had dreams of dying in those ways in foreign lands, foreign languages, and different genders. So I definitely think it's possible for us to receive that message from our Akashic library, from our higher self, and you can call spirit in to receive those messages in your dream time. I also had a recurring nightmare when I was about 5 or 6 years old of a I was a person walking through a jungle, like a bush, and I had a basket on my head, and we were in a big single file line. I had dark skin, and we were walking through this bush, and really quietly, and all you could hear was the steps of our feet breaking sticks on the ground, and there was little children and stuff, and all of a sudden I had this massive big bang, and I would wake up and I would be sweating, I would be hyperventilating and crying, and it always was like bang, and I wanted to grab my head. And the weirdest thing, like I had this dream numerous times when I was a young girl. Like I cannot even express to you how many times I had this recurring nightmare. But I was born with a small bump on my head right here. It's like a little mole. That is the place where I, in the dream, heard this big bang, and when I wake up I could like feel energy there. I was terrified of balloons popping when I was a little girl, and at the relay race when the gun would go off for sports day, terrified. I always had my ears, like my hands in my ears when it came to loud bangs. So yeah, do with that what you will. So many tales to tell you. So anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, this little tale, and hope you enjoyed your tea. I love doing Have Tea With Me. I think it's like a really cool way for us to just sit and have a chat, because I have so many things that I love to share with you, but it feels weird having like a structured video around it. I would much rather just sit and chill and have tea with you and have a bit of a chat. Please, if you have any experience with your past lives, leave them down below in the comments. I would love to hear. I love replying to as many comments as I possibly can, and your encouragement in videos that I've done in the past is the reason why I have continued doing this format, because I had so many people say they loved sitting down and having a chat with me, which just warms my heart so much. You guys know that my dream is to grow my YouTube channel. I want to make it as big as I can and have a really big community, so I can afford to keep making more videos. Like if I could afford to be able to make like 2 videos a week, that would just be like, oh, my ultimate goal. So I'm really trying to expand here, and your support means the world to me. You can go over and check out my Patreon, where I have beginner classes in witchcraft and spirituality, and you can all through my website see my services like my beautiful spirit dolls and my talismans. So go and check those out. And it was my honor to have you here. Thank you. Enjoy your tea, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. I love you.